YouTube, welcome. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing a new game called The Bazaar. This just recently went free to play in their open beta, and I'll do my best to walk you through it as we go, but you'll also pick up kind of how it goes throughout. A few different characters. There's Vanessa, which is kind of pirate themed. There's Dooley, which is robot themed, and then there's also Pig, who I haven't unlocked yet. We're going to be doing a Vanessa run today, and Vanessa has a lot of weapons, a lot of ammo weapons that need reloading, as well as a lot of aquatic items that we'll be putting on status effects, like poison and sunburn as well. So we're going to start with a gold tier skill, and I'm actually just going to go for a strong poison start. And so this skill right here is going to give our leftmost item 9 poison. We're going to go to the shop and hopefully find an item with poison. If we don't, this is a decent combination. This is a revolver. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it shoots pretty quickly and has a lot of ammo. And then a bayonet, so when you use the weapon to the left, deal 10 damage. And I'm actually going to grab the ambergris as well. This is a little bit like a bank where every time I buy an aquatic item, this gains value, which could be helpful later on when I am going to potentially need to sell that if I need some extra money. Your bank is over here. The way it works on the left is you go through these shops. Halfway through the day, you fight against a computer opponent, and then you go through a couple more shops, and at the end of the day, you fight against an async player opponent. So that could be any player that was on the same day as you for any of the builds, from any of the characters, but you're not playing them live in real time. You get 20 prestige at the bottom. Your goal is to get 10 wins before you lose your prestige. You lose your prestige based upon the day that you're on. Day 1, if you lose your player versus player match, you lose 1 prestige. Day 10, you lose 10. There are this is a new game. They also did a patch today, and we're doing some maintenance on the server, so there are occasionally some brief server interruptions, but this should not take too long to restart. Anyways, I'm curious, have you been playing this game? Have you been playing the Bazaar at all? Have you been doing well with it? Do you have a favorite character? Do you have a favorite playstyle? Do you like the aquatics, or do you like doing a bunch of tech builds with Dooley? Do you like doing value stacking with Pig? And if you haven't played yet, I would love to hear your thoughts below as to what your impressions are of this game. I know we're just starting out. This is my first time posting a video on this game, so you probably don't even know fully yet what you're looking at. But I promise as you watch it, it will make a bit more sense over time. So over here, this gives me crit chance, which just basically means double damage for whatever your crit chance is. So crit chance on this item. I do not have a friend, so this will not. This event has a choice that if you have a friend item, then you'll get extra XP. I don't have a friend item right now, so we'll actually just go wide and see if we can get another weapon, which say we comfortably did that. And I'll just keep this out right here, and then we'll go into the PvP battle right here for day 1.
Go ahead, underestimate me. It makes this more fun. You should know, I'm a bit of a legend on Bazaar.
And so you can see they have seaweed, which gains healing every time that they use an aquatic item. They have a jellyfish, which poisons. And then they have a cannon, which does both damage and burn. I do think it's likely that I will lose this first day, based on what I'm seeing here, because they have pretty strong healing, and I am running out of ammo without a way to reload. So even though their cannon has ran out of ammo, they have a status effect item over here, the jellyfish, that's applying poison to me, so they're continually stacking up more damage. And I'm actually going to take 2 income here. Actually, no, I'm going to take 2 gold and 1 XP.
Ah, place to store the rest of the tyrant's gold.
I'll take an extra 10 damage on my weapons just because I don't have much else going on right now. And then I will take a haste item. And this right over here is a great haste item. So the Shadow Cloak, especially early, when you use the item to the right of this, haste it for 1 second. If it's a weapon, it also gains 3 damage for the fight. So this right here is a pretty solid combo for early in the game. And the Covetous Thief over here also has a Shadow Cloak, so I might even be able to get an upgrade if I'm lucky if he drops that item once I beat him. The computer players, when you play against the computer, like the preset computer ones, those ones will drop items, but when you play against a player, it will not. And then, while I don't have a lot of crit chance, when I do crit, this specific item does reload, so that also helps as well.
The rookery remembers!
If I don't have what you need, I'll help you find who does. Oh, delivery's free.
So this is a little bit of econ, and also it allows me to get items from other characters that aren't in Vanessa's character pool. I'm okay on Rowboat right now. And let me see what this looks like if I do this.
I want you to be happy.
Let me do this for now. So this is a cutlass, and the reason why I like it is because it has multicast right over there, the ×2, so every time it attacks, it does double that amount of damage. I'm going to see if I can skill max right now and get another skill. And then this is actually a really, really powerful skill, inexorable, so it's actually a permanent scaling crit. So every time that I start a fight, so right now my items have an extra 2% crit chance, but every time I start a fight, that bonus increases by 2%. So by the end of the game, if you've done an average of 2 fights per day, you do 10 days, you're looking at potentially an extra 20 to 40% crit chance.
I may be young for a captain,
if not more, if you're doing more fights throughout. So, very, very powerful, because crit chance means double damage, or if you're using status effects, double status effects for what you're doing. They do have some burn, but they are going to be running out of ammo, but I think, unfortunately, that is a bit too much burn for this early in the game. So, end of day 2, and 0 for 2.
Waiting to be filled.
This I'm actually going to keep right here, although I probably don't need this on the board. But this is a pretty powerful combo, because this scales value for the item to the left of it every time I go to a merchant, and this is actually a pig item, but I got it because I have the shovel here. And then this scales value every time that I buy an aquatic item. So combined, these are going to stack up value on this, so whenever I potentially am in a situation where I'm going to need some extra cash, if there's something I want to buy, this will be in place and have the value scaled, and then if I sell this, I can just keep scaling value on something else with the rewards card on a different item. So for now, I'm actually going to look at skills. I'm still going to focus on that. And I don't really like any of these. And I think I'm actually just going to go like this. And I think I'm just going to get extra crit chance. And we might just go solo, well not solo weapons and so, but we might kind of lean into what's going on here. Initial damage isn't as important as this. I want this to scale it better. So this is going to haste this for 2 seconds every time this attacks, and it's also going to give it an extra 5 damage every time this attacks, but because it's multicast, it's actually going to be an extra 10 damage, compared to before it was 1 second of haste and 3 damage. So definitely makes that more powerful. I'll put this here just because I can, and then we are going to go there.
The sparks! They're everywhere!
So this isn't the best matchup for me because I don't have any status effects, so this character is going to likely build up some shield, and their attacking is based on when they have shield, they attack equal to the shield that they have out there. So I might also just be talking nonsense because we handle that pretty easily. And then skill at the start of each fight, haste 2 items for 3 seconds. That is a great skill. I don't really want ammo items right now. I'm not using any ammo items, and I think I'm okay on skipping that. I guess I'll just go for the chocolate bars and take the free 5 chocolate bars and get 50 extra health. And then here I do want to go to a vendor, so
Oh, hello.
I'll go here.
I mean, welcome to my business.
And
I'll never resell this.
so let me sell that. Let me put this
Where's
out here.
Mitchworth? Oh, did he see me close a deal?
This would basically every time I crit, this
Place
will
to store
haste
the
an item
rest of
for
the tyrant's
1
gold.
second. This is likely to crit, and then although this also gives me adjacent items have an extra 15% crit chance, that's not really going to work because I have the bayonet here, but I'm open to potentially getting rid of the bayonet. I'm going to now upgrade a bronze tier item. I'm going to upgrade the cutlass.
Ooh, the keener the blade, the quicker the fight.
Just get a little extra damage on it, and see
We're
what
out
we can
to
do for this
dethrone
fight.
a king, not to squabble with nobody. Go ahead, underestimate me. It makes this more fun.
So they're a hasted, healing, shielding, poison build. And in comparison, I'm a scaling weapon build. And it does look like
All cannon.
because
No
of the status
fall.
effects with the haste. You see how the catfish over here scaled up its damage because it kept getting haste. And so yeah, that was not an ideal matchup for us.
I'm finished with fighting, but I can help you finish a fight. Nouveau teaches stillness. I prefer action.
And so the grenade here is a ammo item, and it only has one ammo right now, but it is high crit. So right now it's at 48% crit chance with this next to it. So I got rid of the bayonet just because that will give me a lot higher crit chance on the cutlass. but I am also going to be
I
looking
would never
for
debase my words by haggling. Ugh.
something to help me go a little bit wider. Probably right now this isn't or actually, yeah, probably right now this isn't the worst combo. I'm putting this right here. At least this can attack multiple times even if it's slow.
Oh, I understand. Class isn't for everyone.
And then I actually think I'm going to just switch this right here so these will have higher crit chance. Flame Juggler has burn, but I think that we can survive.
Is life. And
But I could be wrong. In fact, I probably was wrong. Yeah, I was very wrong there.
that is
And that
how
wasn't
it's done.
particularly close. I should have gone with another one. I'm just really weak right now to burn and poison because I don't have any healing. I do want to upgrade this because I want to be able to keep getting small items, but if they're silver items, that would be better.
New items? Do we look like Lux and Andy?
Cast aside your destruments! You are enough, friend. But I'm glad you bought this.
My fight isn't with you. But if
So
you
what I did there
insist,
is I put out the
you should
catfish,
know
which,
I'm a bit of a legend
because of my
on
skill, will
Bazaar.
have an extra 9 poison. And also, if in theory this skill hits it, then I get an extra 1. Now in theory, actually, I could actually put the catfish next to the shadowed cloak, and that would scale up the damage pretty quickly.
You've got talent. You should put it towards
It's an
nobler
interesting idea. So you see I got the first one there, day 4, that means I'm going to have a really strong build at the end. But I am okay with that. So let's see
Welcome
what
in,
we
huh?
are getting
What
here.
can I get you?
No, none of these are any good for what I'm doing right now. Pufferfish is interesting, especially with that there. Alright, we're gonna burn the boats. I've got an idea. This is gonna go right here. This is gonna go right here. This is gonna go right here.
Oh, I think you're really gonna enjoy that.
This is gonna go right here. So basically, the general idea of what's going on here is that every time that the catfish attacks, every 5 seconds, it's going to gain haste from the shadowed cloak for 2 seconds. Every time the catfish gains haste, it gains 1 poison. When that levels up, it becomes 2, then 3 poison, right? Every time the catfish attacks, the catalyst will haste the item to the right of it. So when you use the item to the left, haste the item to the right, right? So every time the catfish attacks, the pufferfish gets hasted. But the pufferfish does 10 poison, and every single time you haste, it gets charged 2 seconds. So I'm getting haste on the catfish, which will scale it.
Take your
But
time.
the catfish will
But
also
let
then
know
be
if I
hasting the pufferfish, and then as those 2 hastes happen, the pufferfish gets scaled up. Now, over here, I have the sextant. So the sextant, when you crit, haste 1 item for 1 second. So I don't have super high crit chance right now. It's 28 and 27%, depending on the item. But if the fight goes on for longer than 10 or 15 seconds, it's likely that some items will crit. And so with that, then, that's another potential haste trigger for this. And also long term, as my crit chance gets higher and I start to crit every single time that I attack, then because of inexorable over here, because every time I start a fight increase this bonus by 2%, this sextant is going to haste an item, and then every time I haste any item, the pufferfish gets charged. So, starting to have a decent building up here, in that there is actually a little bit of congruence across the build. It took me a second to get here, but it's starting to look okay. And then this is interesting. The first time you use an item each fight, haste one burn item for 2 seconds. I don't have a burn item right now, but I can get a burn item in a shop. And in fact, I want a burn item at some point, so let's see if we can find a burn item.
More raids, more bounty.
It's not going to be now. So now we're going to go up against the computer and we're going to see exactly how this is doing.
What's that, Mr. Barkington? They don't have a fight permit!
So as you can see, every time this gets hasted, this gets charges a lot faster. And I've already put on 58 poison, and it's been about 3 seconds into the fight. I'm already at 96 poison. I'm at 121 poison right now.
Typical smear cap.
And that fight was over before they were able to do a lot of damage. Now I'm missing a couple things. I don't have a lot of defense here, so I would like to get a seaweed because these are aquatic items and they will
Reward the peaceful, punish the
help a seaweed, or seaweed will help. I will buy an ambergris as another bank. I will scale this, or roll this, and I will take another fight right now because I do want to continue scaling up my crit chance with inexorable, which every time that I start a fight, I get another 2% crit chance. Which is great for me because when I crit, I haste. When I haste, my pufferfish goes faster. You can see I'm already at 134 poison for the fight, and this fight is going to be over pretty soon here. There we go. And this game is a lot about just figuring out how to create congruent combos. And sometimes you have good shop luck and sometimes you don't. And when you have bad shop luck, you can't really force a build. I've done that before. When you try to do that, and rather than actually noticing what you have in the shop and trying to adapt to it, that's when problems can happen. Okay. Right now I think I'm good on just waiting this out and going into this fight right here.
I may be young for a captain, but I've seen my share of storms.
And so you can see they're also a hasted poison build. They've got a hasted catfish, they've got a hasted pufferfish as well. And they've actually got a lot more haste than I do, plus they have healing as well as shield. So I think they're basically what I want to be doing, but a little bit better. Although it does look like my initial poison was a lot stronger than theirs, so surprisingly, unexpectedly, I did win that fight. I did not expect that at all. So I don't really want a large item. There's a couple medium items that I would be open to, but I don't really want a large item. So we're just going to get a free small weapon. This one doesn't really do anything for me right now. This doesn't do anything for me. Start of each hour, set this item's value number between 0 and 20. It's 8 right now, I can wait. Pepper spray I'm not going to use. And then Curio is actually pretty good because he might give me some good options for stuff that I'm trying to do here. I do want to get a burn item eventually, so I will buy you.
Rusty circuits to see that final. Well, you're doing
This I'll buy to sell because that gives me cooldown reduction. And then these other ones, when you sell this, reduce your items cooldown by 1%. Sure.
Reuse everything.
Let me roll these. I don't really have weapons. Crit chance. I do want crit chance on the catfish. I'll take 1% crit chance. And then Lich is one of the strongest computer opponents in the game, so unfortunately I am not going to do that. But I will take this is where there's no real value for me to take the Foreman, but the Dire Mosquito can give me cooldown reduction, so we're gonna, even though it's the easiest opponent right now, we're going to take that one. And then this over here is just because when I sell this, my leftmost burn item will gain +3 burn. So I'm just holding this right now, even though I don't expect this to be here for a while. I'm just hoping to get something like a small lighter or another burn item that can go into that slot over there. Upgrade a silver or lower tier item. Actually, surprisingly enough, the item that I need to upgrade the most right now is going to be the catfish, because every time that this gets hasted, I wanted to get 2 poison instead of 1 poison. And because it was bronze, at this point I wouldn't be able to find it in shops, so I just wanted to get that upgraded to make sure that I could. I'm going to go for 2 gold and a tool. I don't have any weapons, so that doesn't have too much value for me, although if I was doing a weapon build, that would be great. 15 gold on the crypto, that's perfect. And let's see. I will take another fight because I want to keep scaling up inexorable, so escort the convoy. Radiant Corsair is a tough opponent, however, has a really great skill. The Radiant Corsair skill right here, the first time you die each fight heal to full, is really, really powerful. So I don't think I'm going to get that, but if I do, that would be great. But I don't think so. I think I'm applying damage way too slowly. Because that skill also applies to them, so I would have had to have gone through their whole entire health bar, which was pretty massive. You know, that is a very strong opponent for where I am right now. And that was unlikely to work. Well, let's see how we go up against this pig.
We're out to defend
Pigs are
the king,
just about starting to
not
come online. They do a lot of
squabble.
value scaling, so the first couple days they're not the strongest, but getting to day 6, day 7, day 8, they start to get a little bit stronger. This one is a hasted weapon build, so every time that the weapons get used, all of their weapons are getting stronger. They do have a little bit of scaling shield and a little bit of scaling poison, or heal, but overall they didn't really have too much against poison. The nice thing about poison is that it cuts through shield. So even though it's a slower status effect compared to burn, burn will actually not cut through shield. So it's just a matter of what you prioritize. Alright, let's see what I've got going on here. I do not need an Uzi. At the start of each fight, freeze 1 item for 2 seconds. I like this because it is
tragedy. Reuse everything.
It's an enabler. And it also, like, I've been noticing I've been going slower because some of my haste skills have been going to other items, so I really want to make sure that actually, I think right now I only want those 2 active items.
20 years waiting for you. Well, you're doing your part
Take some
to
crit
clean up the
chance, roll
bazaar.
again.
Warms my
on.
rusty circuits to see that find on.
And I think, actually, for right now, that's about all I'm looking for. So, for a small item, and this is why I wanted to upgrade the catfish, because now I was able to get the catfish at silver level in shops. So now every time this gets hasted, it gains 3 poison for the fight. And then I'm going to grab holsters as another non-active item, and then at the start of each fight, your small items gain haste for 1 second. So that's going to get hasted. There's also the skill that hastes, so the pufferfish at the beginning of the fight should go off pretty quickly. And then when that goes off, this goes off, and then that all goes quicker. We do get another shot at the Radiant Corsair. I don't think I'm going to be able to beat it, but I am curious, and I would like to try and see if I can get that skill. Especially now that I know that I am attacking a lot faster. But I still don't think I win this fight, but I am going to try. Overall, though, I am a lot stronger than I was the last time I fought. And you can see, before I they were at like 20 or 2,000 on their health bar, but now they're all the way down to 255. Granted, it was their first health bar, but that does tell me, considering that they have 3,200 health and I only have 1,350, it tells me that I am a lot stronger than I was just a few minutes ago. Now this is where this gets interesting, because I absolutely love the weather glass. I think it is a fantastic item. And I think what I'm going to do here is actually pivot pretty aggressively out of what I've been doing here. So this, and then this. If you have another item with burn, poison, slow, or freeze. So then I'm going to pull this out, and then this gives this 3 of that. And this can go over here. That puts that on that. And then that puts that on that. And use item to the left, haste this. So this will be getting hasted pretty aggressively every time this goes. You have a vehicle or large item. I don't have either of those. Now the reason why I like the weather glass is because it gets multicast, which can be really, really powerful. So I actually want, let me see, how do I want this to go? Use the item to the left of this, haste the item to the right. I want the weather glass to actually have the extra poison. So now the catfish is a lot weaker, but I have multicast on the weather class, so I don't really care about that. So I am actually looking for another burn item, which I kind of do have right here, but then that would replace that. Or a slow item actually would do pretty well. So yeah, that gets me 4 times multicast on the weather glass. Ambergris I think I can sell at this point.
I guess.
I really do want to get a burn. Oh no, I can put the burn onto there. Perfect. That's why I was holding that. So now the pivot is going on. So this right over here, Amber will slow an item for 3 seconds. I don't really care. It's a small slow item and what that does, because this has multicast for every burn, poison, slow, or freeze item. So now I have a slow item, that's 1 multicast. I have a freeze item, that's 2 multicast. And then I have a poison item, which is another multicast. So this has times 4 multicast. And then every time this goes off, I want to let me just see this real quick. So then
You
this,
shieldlings do everything slow.
how do I actually want, I need this on the left because I want this to have the extra poison because it has the multicast. So even though it says a 7 burn, 11 poison, it's actually going to be 28 burn and 44 poison every single time this attacks, so every 7 seconds, which is why it's powerful. I also want it to get haste, which means that I want this to be over here so it can double up on the haste, although then this, well, that's tough because then you're the leftmost poison item. So then I think you need to be over here. And then you need to be over here, which is not great, but it's, I think, the way that it needs to be. Because this is active, so every 6 seconds this is going to haste this, every 5 seconds this is going to haste both of these, and then whenever things get hasted, this charges. So kind of slow right now, plus there's a couple haste skills that I have here. Still, I would say fairly slow for what I'm trying to do, but I think overall a lot stronger. And then over here at the start of each fight, I can upgrade to go from hasten 2 items to hasten 3 items. So that's perfect, because that will charge this by 6 at the beginning of each fight, 6 seconds. And let's see if we can find another haste skill. First time. No. Building crescendo. No. I'm not using weapons. When you haste, your items gain 2 crit chance. I do haste. So I think that's going to be when I haste, my items gain crit chance. So right now, the main thing that I want to do is I want to find ways to haste more and more for the rest of the run. This is, I think, just about the build that I'm looking for. I think I'm willing to replace the captain's wheel with a beach ball, because the captain's wheel is a 5-second item and will only haste for 1 second, and then as it scales up 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Whereas the beach ball will piece of burden. It's such a crazy skill. It has extra multicast for every single type of item that it's been there, which is just absolutely crazy skill. I'll take some regen right now. But the beach ball will haste more items as it scales up. So that's kind of why I was saying that I would be willing to get that.
Right then, off you go.
I think I can beat this guy even though he has some freezing. Or sorry, damage and shield spell actually, which neither of those are too worrisome for me because poison punches through shield, so I'm not too worried about that. The first time you freeze, burn, slow, poison, and haste each fight, charge 1 item 2 seconds. That's a great skill. I do all of those things. And for medium items, I'm looking for a beach ball. More than anything, that's what I'm looking for. Docklines is a good item, but I just don't need to have a lot of slow. I just need slow, and it's a medium item, and I already have a slow small item, so I don't need that. Beach ball, no.
See that mountain?
Did not get it.
That's Paul. You might have what you need.
Now this is a better freeze item than this. This will freeze at the beginning of the fight, but this will actually have some impact, and I don't need the beginning of the fight freeze because I don't think I have a start of fight freeze effect. So let me just put this out there. I think for now I can just do that. You I'm not going to use. So yeah, basically I think the only thing that I'm looking for right now is switching out the captain's wheel for a beach ball. But I do think I would rather take a fight rather than go to a shop right now. As you can see, just off of that first round of me going off, I already put up 100 poison. And by the third time the water wheel or the weather glass goes off, I'm already at 200 poison. So first 5 times you slow each fight, charge 1 burn item 1 second. So I do slow, so that is good. That would be a situation where it might make sense to switch it for the dock lines, but I think I'm okay right now for that, just because
makes this more fun.
I can get that hasted or charged later so that it happens more frequently. And let's see, this is a burn pig build with a little bit of healing, but and a little bit of freezing, I believe, and not much else. And kind of slow application of the burn. So I think this is an easy one for us, yes. Alright, so after a really slow start, it's now day 8 with 4 wins. I'm beating decently good teams, and it looks like I still have a lot of room for improvement. Well, not looks like, I know for a fact I still have a lot of room for improvement. Specifically if I get a beach ball. And you will hear me say beach ball until I get a beach ball for the rest of this run. Sells medium items, that's great. The beach ball is a medium item. It is not a beach ball, that's a life preserver. Nice try. So dock lines here. What was the skill that I had that was slowing? The first 5 times you slow, charge 1 burn item. This is my only burn item, which means that in 12 seconds this... Let me try it for now and just see how it is PvP, because that will mean my big win condition right now is weather glass going off as fast as possible. So if this slows 2 items, that means this goes off 2. This gets, what was the skill again? This gets 2 seconds of charge. It's already being somewhat hasted, so in theory, that could help. Yeah, I'm okay with going against a strong opponent. Death Knight Reaper is actually... okay, so put up 100 burn, or 100 poison. Boom. Yeah, you can see how much faster this is actually attacking now. Or was attacking, but this is lifesteal. These are all lifesteal, so unfortunately I do lose that one. But because it's against the computer, I don't actually lose any of my prestige. Now here's an interesting dilemma. Do I go for damage on the weather glass, which would be multicast, and it would probably be damage 10 times either my burn or my poison? So it would either be 70 damage, multicast times 4, so it would be 280 damage, or it might be 10 times the poison, so it would be 110 times 4, so 440 damage. So do I go damage here, or do I go for another enchantment?
Down, anchors up.
If I did get another enchantment, slowed doesn't really help me here. I really don't think anything helps me, and there's no penalty for me doing damage because I'm not doing a lifesteal build. So I think I am going to go for damage here. And let me see. Deal damage equal to 10 times this item's burn. Multicast times 4.
If you have to ask the price, you can't afford it. If you want something big and ugly, go see.
So then, as I scale this item's burn, it's going to do more damage, and obviously it's multicast as well. So now this is going to be doing 24 burn, 44 poison, and 36. Sorry, no, not 36. 360 damage every time that it attacks, and every time that this slows, this gets charged. Plus, it has some other haste effects over here. So,
You should know, I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago.
Next up, I'm putting up a lot of poison. And nice win. That was a strong opponent. That was a very burn-focused, hasted opponent. Burn ticks really fast. The fact that we beat that is a really, really good indicator. So now 5 wins. Still looking for the beach ball. As I said, you're going to keep hearing me talk about the beach ball until I get it. And I think because it's an aquatic item, I am going to go here. I will take the level on the pufferfish and get some of that. I'll hold on to the seaweed. I don't think I'm going to use it, even though it does fit my build. Because I have a few different aquatics. I don't need large items, and I think I'm just going to take the regeneration here. And I think either way here, none of this, like the extra XP, I guess I will. I mean, I'll get frozen for a little bit, but I don't think they freeze me enough to actually completely devastate my build. Especially with that amount of damage. And the crit chance. I mean, this is at... In fight, it was at 72 crit chance at the end of the fight. At the start of each fight, freeze all non-weapon items for 2 seconds. Well, this is technically a weapon item, so that gives me a 2-second head start. Cell skills unique to the massive. Teaches weapon skills, teaches ammo. I'll take a look at the cell's diamond skills. The first 4 times you use a weapon each fight, charge 1 item 1 second. Now, this is technically now a weapon because it has the damage, and it's 4 times multicast, so the first 4 times that I use this, it will charge an item. So that will basically charge 4 items, possibly including itself, as soon as this gets used. 1 damage for each ammo? No. First time you crit freeze? No. Flurry of blows sounds great. And I'm still looking for the beach ball. And a haste item.
Do more. Be happier, right?
Turbo Pesky Pete. This is interesting. For each adjacent friend or property, this gains +4 burn. Haste 1 item for 2 seconds. Oh, I like it, but I don't think it's what I need. Turbo Cannon? No, I don't want to reload that. No. That's unfortunate.
I get it.
Lots of haste items and not the one that I'm looking for. Alright.
I may be young for a captain, but I've seen my share of storms.
Dooley here that's been playing for a lot longer than me. A lot stronger than me. Almost 1700 more damage. And they are burning and then applying shield as well. But the nice thing about burn Oh. Alright, maybe I should. So, that was a good build. Let me take another look at it. Deal damage equal to your shield. Where did all the shield come from? Your shield items have plus shield equal to 3 times your level. Okay. The first time you use an item each fight, shield equal to 50% of your max health. That is a crazy skill for that, because they attack. Oh, and this has double damage, so deal damage equal to your shield with double damage. That is a crazy build. Nice work. Very lucky, but I can't get mad at that. Alright, enchantment. I am going to kind of roll the dice here.
Friend. I'm pleased to finally meet you.
And I'm going to put a random enchantment on the catfish. And the reason why is because the catfish scales its poison as it gets haste. And so now the catfish scales both its poison and its burn as it gets hasted. Because now that it's enchanted, it burns equal to this item's poison, which is kind of exactly what I was hoping for. It's just about the best pull that I could get there. I don't need this. I think at this point you can go. I'm not going to be using you. I don't think I'm going to be using you. I'll keep that there. Keep that there. I wonder actually if there's value to something like this, because the pufferfish at this point isn't really doing anything. It's kind of there for the vibes. Like, most of my damage now is going to be from the catfish and the weather glass. So I might as well put out the seaweed and see, you know, I have multiple aquatic items and at least get some defense. Plus the amber will give me slow items, plus it will extend the length, because you see here your other slow items have plus 1 second of slow, so now the dock lines slows 2 items for 4 seconds. I think I'm going to try this right now and see how it goes. Get this. Small items, sure.
You've just taken the first step toward good taste. Neither wealthy nor wise, huh?
And the next time that I lose a PvP match, player versus player match, I will be losing this round. So, not the best position to be in, but that's the game. And you can see here how
To be a dervish is to be free.
before I was kind of doing two, like, it was like if I had like 250, 300 poison, I would have 100 burn. Now the catfish has kind of equalized that, which is great. Let's go gold tier item and see if I can get... Oh, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. Aquatic items have +1 multicast. Oh, that's such a good item, but I don't even know where it fits. I guess... Hold on. I've got to do some inventory management. You're gone, you're gone. I guess I can do this. This is kind of crazy. In a good way. I lose 1 multicast on the weather glass, but everything else gets multicast. Yeah, that's That's pretty crazy. And then, if I get a beach ball here, I'm going to be ecstatic. It is not a beach ball. Okay, well, worth a try. Kira.
Well, howdy, hero.
So you, let me put you there. And let's see what items get.
Trash and tragedy.
This.
Reuse everything.
Okay, let me get
That's
extra
been
heal.
sitting there 20 years.
Crit chance, heal. Perfect. Roll. Cool.
Well, you're
Sure.
doing your part to clean up the bazaar.
Max health. Sure. And okay. So basically now all of these are going to multicast. I lose one multicast on the weather glass, but because I have the shipwreck here, I get multicast on the captain's wheel, which means that it's going to haste adjacent items for 2 seconds instead of 1. But because it's 2 different instances, because it's multicast, the catfish is going to get double scaling for, so it's every time it gets hasted, it's going to get +3 poison, but also +3 burn, which is actually going to then be +6 and +6. The seaweed is also going to get haste or get double, so every time I use an aquatic, which I have 1, 2,
I know the Eastern
this is going to
Sky
gain
is
15
beautiful.
heal, and then every single time.
But can we get
But
moving?
also, these are multicast, so every time that these go off, it's actually going to be +30 heal for the fight. And then when this actually goes off, so let's say it has 100 heal, it would actually be 200 heal. Very powerful. Also likely to lose right as
We're
this
out to
build is getting
dethrone
online.
King, not to
Not getting
squabble
beach ball
with
has
no one.
really kind of sucked because it means the captain wheel is only doing adjacent haste rather than all of my aquatic items, but we shall see how this goes. They do put out a lot of burn here. And they also had a lot of healing. So, unfortunately, interesting build. Never really got fully where I wanted it to be.
I am
But
the
that's the
daughter
Bazaar.
of House Rosina. My father
get-
lives through me.
Pretty entertaining, and it's a combination of some luck, some skill, knowing exactly how everything goes together, and at a certain point, just crossing your fingers and hoping that you got a better build than the person that you go up against, and you have no idea what they're going to have. So you just got to build the best build that you can, and hope that you get the 10 wins. On that note, hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to drop them below. Like, comment, and subscribe as well. Share with a friend. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll talk to you later.